My final review until The Force Awakens, let's get to it. Return of the Jedi is my second favorite Star Wars film, first being Empire obviously, and while I think A New Hope is a better film, I enjoy this movie more. But it does have flaws, and I hate to start with the flaws, but it just so happens this movie starts with one that's always bugged me, which is the fact that they're building another Death Star. It just felt repetitive, like come on, really? Another Death Star? The first one didn't work out. It just felt, I don't want to say this word, but it felt lazy in my opinion. We then see R2 and C-3PO going to Jabba's palace, which is very reminiscent to A New Hope. It's definitely a throwback to the original formula. And it is here where we see Jabba the Hutt for the first time. Not in A New Hope, here. And he does look like a puppet, but for the time period, I would say he looks pretty darn good. And I like all the scenes at Jabba's palace, minus the changes for the Blu-ray. But eventually the gang gets back together, including Han Solo, who was unfrozen by Leia, and Lando's there in disguise, which confirms the fact that he's a good guy, because we didn't really know for sure at the end of Empire Strikes Back. And when we finally see Luke, he's definitely not the same guy. He's all tough looking, almost has an evil vibe to him, which is something I like. He definitely feels like a force to be reckoned with. But Jabba takes them to this weird mouth thing in the desert to be digested for 1,000 years anyway, which is a really fun scene, but I have to admit, the green screen work is painfully obvious. And look, I'm not comparing it to today's special effects. Compared to the previous two films, which didn't have this problem at all, it's just bad. We also get the Emperor for the first time, which is fantastic. I love everything about this guy. His look, voice, posture. He's very manipulative and conniving. He definitely feels like the puppet master for the whole trilogy. And it was also cool to see Vader Superior, which is something we hadn't seen before. Anyway, Luke returns to Yoda, which is really fun. I really love Yoda. Who doesn't love Yoda? He just bleeds wisdom. Speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And it is here where Luke learns that there's another Skywalker out there. I just really feel bad for this guy. Nobody tells him anything. He didn't know about his father, now his sister. Does this guy even know his family? But anyway, Ghost Obi-Wan tells him that it's Leia, and he needs to confront his father. And I like the idea that Luke is struggling with this idea. He's not sure if he could confront Vader because he is his father. And during the planning of the attack of the Death Star, they learn that they have to go to Endar, because that's where the base for the shield generators are for the Death Star, and it needs to be destroyed. And that's where the Ewoks come in. The Ewoks are a controversial subject among Star Wars fans. Look, I don't hate the Ewoks. They have that cute vibe going, but they don't really add anything. They're basically here just for kids. And them on Endor does drag just a bit until Luke finally tells Leia he is her brother. And I like that scene. Leia tells Luke that she's always had a feeling, which is a sweet idea. But then you think back to Empire Strikes Back when they kiss, and you think, did she know then? Because if so, that's some kinky stuff. Okay. The ships are gearing up for the attack on the Death Star, and Luke is confronting Vader, and Vader's trying to turn Luke to the dark side, but Luke's like, nah, you're gonna turn to the light side. I feel some good in you. And that's when we find out it's a trap. The shields aren't down, and the Death Star is fully operational, which we were led to believe it wasn't earlier. And that's where some of the best ship-on-ship sequences happen in the entire Star Wars series. At this point, there are 3 different things happening simultaneously. Luke, the Emperor, and Vader, the attack on the Death Star, and the stuff going down on Endor, which makes it a really engaging time. But by far, the best aspect in this movie is the Emperor and Vader trying to turn Luke. It's captivating, and just the emotional way is spectacular. Wow, okay. And the Emperor is just sitting there telling Luke that his friends are gonna die. Let the hatred flow through you. But Luke is resisting, and I absolutely adore the shot when Luke is hiding and half of his face is dark and the other half is light. It's a really symbolic shot, and it's showing you that he's conflicted. He's on the light side, but that dark side is sounding good at the moment. But it's not until Vader mentions the possibility of Leia turning to the dark side where it just sets him off with rage. He starts swinging at him, and it's not even choreographed. It's just full of anger and rage, and it feels very real. And Luke cuts off Vader's robotic hand, and he looks at his own robotic hand and realizes he's becoming like his father. So he throws his lightsaber and turns to the Emperor and says, "No, I'm a Jedi, like my father before me." So be it. Lightning fingers! The Emperor just got cooler. The Emperor starts shooting Luke with the lightning, and Vader's turning back and forth. And with just a mask, you're not even seeing his face, you can tell he's conflicted. And he picks up the Emperor and throws him over that thing. I don't even know what it's called. And the lightning kind of short circuits Vader's suit. And now he's dying. He's suffocating. And the way they handled Vader's death was really smart. There was emotion. And at the end of it, he was just a vulnerable, old, broken dude. And during this, the Death Star finally blows up as Lando's flying the Millennium Falcon, and he's going through the wedges of the Death Star, and he flies out just in the nick of time as it explodes. It's one of the best shots of the entire movie. I love it. So now the Empire is destroyed, and all the rebels are celebrating with the Ewoks, and in the special edition Blu-ray, you see all the different places around the galaxy celebrating, which I like that idea, but kind of looks like an animated movie. And then as they're there, we see Ghost Obi-Wan, Ghost Yoda, and then this other old dude pops up, and then you're like, oh my god, it's Vader. It's Anakin. That's awesome. And then, of course, they change it to Anakin. Young Anakin, by the way. Which makes no sense whatsoever. But overall, I just love the way they wrapped this up. Everyone was concluded nice and neat. Everyone's story came to a close nice. It was neat. A happy bow on it. Yeah, it was a little too happy. It was a nice contrast to Empire Strikes Back, though. So for these reasons, I'm going to give Return of the Jedi a 7.5 out of 10. Look, I was going back and forth between 7.5 to 8. But after going through this review, I went over a lot of the flaws, so I think a 7.5 sounds fair. It's still better than A New Hope, but like I said, I think A New Hope is still a better film. Anyway, seeing The Force Awakens today, so I'm going to get that review up as soon as possible, so make sure to subscribe to get all my latest reviews. So let me know, what did you think of Return of the Jedi? And also, what's your favorite Star Wars film? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to like this video, and as always, I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.